Next part of human reproduction is stages of embryonic development. Now, what are the phases of embryonic development? The phases include, first will be cleavage. Cleavage is simply cell division of the zygote. Simple mitotic division of the zygote is referred to as cleavage division. And obviously, repeated mitotic division will result in the production of an embryo. Now, in that blastulation, next stage will be when a the stage that is called as the blastocyst is formed, and that blastocyst will get implanted into the uterine endometrium for further development. That stage will be referred to as blastulation. And now when the embryo is embedded or implanted into the uterine endometrium, there will be cellular differentiation resulting in the formation of three primary germ layers, that is ectoderm, mesoderm and endoderm, and that will come under the process of gastrulation. And the three primary germ layers, that is ectoderm, mesoderm and endoderm, will give rise to all organs and tissues of a individual, and that will be in organogenesis. So, but this video will be only up to the formation of blastocyst. So, first stage of embryonic development is cleavage. And what did we say? Cleavage is simply mitotic division of the zygote. And since it is mitotic division, the resulting cells will be identical in all respects. And as a result of repeated mitotic division, a single celled zygote will be converted into a multicellular embryo. And in case of cleavage, we say the cleavage in human zygote, where it is going to occur in the fallopian tube, and fertilization also occurs in the ampulla region of the fallopian tube. Cleavage in case of human zygote is holoblastic. Holoblastic meaning the entire zygote will divide to form two daughter cells. Why? Because the eggs are alethal, without yolk, as it derives its nourishment from the mother's body. Now, how about those eggs which have large amount of yolk, like the bird's eggs? There, the division where the yolk is present, the zygote is not going to divide. So, zygote is going to divide in the cytoplasmic region. So, there we say that the division is meroblastic. But in case of human zygote, it is holoblastic, that it divides the zygote completely into two daughter cells, and the resulting daughter cells, that is being formed after mitotic division, after cleavage division, are referred to as blastomeres. And the two daughter cells are the slight difference in their size. One will be slightly larger than the other. So, cleavage in human zygote is holoblastic and slightly unequal. Now, the first cleavage in the fallopian tube will be completed after 30 hours after fertilization, and it's going to pass through the animal vegetal pole axis. Which is the animal pole? The region where the polar bodies have been given off, and opposite to that is referred to as the vegetal pole. So, the first cleavage is through the animal vegetal pole, and as a result of that, it's going to divide the zygote into two blastomeres. Second cleavage will occur at right angles to the first and occurs within 40 hours after fertilization, and the third after 72 hours of fertilization. As a result, by repeated cleavage divisions, what we will have a solid ball of cells formed. But there is a difference between mitotic division and cleavage division. What is the difference? Normally, after mitosis, the cell grows in size. How it grows in size? There will be increase in the amount of cytoplasm. But here in cleavage division, there is little growth between the mitotic division. and as a result, what is going to happen? The number of cells will increase, but the cytoplasm will decrease. It will be half in the daughter cells. So as a result, the ratio of the nuclear to cytoplasmic material is going to increase. So because of little growth between the mitotic division, we will have small groups of blastomeres formed, and that will be about the same size of the zygote. That means the resulting cells will be small in size. There will be no growth phase in between, but the nuclear to cytoplasmic material will increase, because cytoplasm will become half, nuclear mass will increase, so that the ratio between the two, nuclear to cytoplasmic material, nuclear mass will be greater than the cytoplasmic mass. So this is the difference between cleavage division and normal mitotic division. Now, as a result of cleavage division, a solid ball of small blastomeres is formed, and this is known as morula because it resembles the fruit mulberry, and silkworm feeds on mulberry. And what is the scientific name of mulberry? Morus. So in Latin, Morus alba. So in Latin, it is referred to as morus. So from that, the word has been derived as morula. And this will be occurring where? In the fallopian tube. Now coming to the next stage, that is morula. So morula is formed after 3 to 4 days of fertilization in the fallopian tube, and it consists of a solid ball of 16 to 32 cells of blastomeres. When it is at the 8 cell stage, the blastomeres are loosely attached, but later they are held tightly due to the formation of junctions in between and by proteins called as the cohesion proteins on their surface. So they are compactly held, they are tightly held, and this is known as compaction. And also we'll find that the cells become differentiated into 2 layers. On the outer surface will be small clear cells, and they are going to surround an inner mass of large dense cells. So the differentiation is already there in the morula, and this will get differentiated into 2 types of cells which will have different functions, as we'll see just now later on in the next slide. Now this morula, so this was happening where? In the fallopian tube. Now this morula will reach the uterus 4 to 6 days after fertilization. It is still surrounded by zona pellucida and corona radiata, but at this stage the corona radiata will get detached away from this during this period. So still it will have zona pellucida around it. So now it's going to reach where? It's going to reach to the uterus. So now this is the next stage, that is blastocyst formation, or in other words what we refer to just now as blastulation. So now this morula reaches the uterus. It will get a rich supply of nutrients from the endometrium. Remember, we said during the menstrual cycle, in the secretory phase or the luteal phase, the endometrial glands secrete a nutrient fluid for the embryo in case fertilization occurs. So because of this rich supply of nutrients, the embryo morula is going to increase its size, and the outer cells, which we said were small clear cells, the outer peripheral cells, they are going to enlarge, flatten and form in the shape of an epithelium and line the embryo, and it's called as the trophoblast or the trophoectoderm. Now a cavity will be formed inside the morula. How? The trophoblast will, with the help of trophoblast, there will be active transport of sodium ions into the morula. As a result, because sodium has an osmotic effect, that is going to pull water into the morula. As a result, a fluid-filled cavity will be formed inside this stage, and this fluid-filled cavity is called as blastocele, And when this full fluid filled cavity is formed, referred to as blastocoele, this stage, embryonic stage, is called as blastocyst. And this blastocoele contains amino acids, growth factors and other molecules necessary for cellular differentiation that is needed for the formation of the embryo. Now, the cells that were inside, which we said there was in the morula, there was differentiation, outer there were clade cells, inside there were large dense cells. So outer clade cells got transformed into the trophoblast. Now inside what was the large dense cells, because of the formation of the cavity, they are going to lie at one end of the embryo. Since they were inside the morula, so therefore they are referred to as inner cell mass, in short form ICM, or when they become compact, they look like a knob of a door, and therefore it's referred to as embryonal knob. Round like a knob, like a door, they are referred to as embryonal knob. Now this inner cell mass, this is going to form the embryo proper. That means the entire baby or the entire child, entire embryo will be formed from this cluster of cells which we refer to as the inner cell mass. And the cells, because they are undifferentiated, they are pluripotent. That means they have certain cells which we call as the stem cells. Stem cells meaning they have the potency to give rise to all tissues and organs. That means from these stem cells, the cells will get rearranged, will get differentiated into the three primary germ layers, that is the ectoderm, mesoderm and the endoderm. And from those three primary germ layers, what will be formed are all tissues and organs. So all our tissues and organs will be formed from these inner cell mass. The trophoblast has no role to play for the formation of the embryo proper. So what is the function of the trophoblast? The cells of the trophoblast, that is lying, the portion of the trophoblast will be just next to the inner cell mass. We call it as the cells of Robber. Now what is the function of the trophoblast? It is lining the blastocyst stage, but also it will form the fetal part of the placenta. So when the placenta is formed, and what is the placenta? Connection between the mother's uterine endometrium and the fetus, growing fetus. The fetal part of the placenta both play a role. The mother's uterine endometrium will also be a part of the placenta, plus the fetus will also be a part of fetus will also be a part of the placenta. And what is that going to be formed? From the trophoblast. So that will be next topic we are going to deal, that is how implantation takes place and what is a placenta, how it is formed and what is its function. So the trophoblast function, it has no role to play in the formation of the embryo proper, but what is its function? It's going to form the fetal part of the placenta plus the extra embryonic membranes, that is the chorion and the amnion. What are their functions? We'll come to that later. And also secretes here you put also, and also secretes a hormone which we say as human chorionic gonadotropin. So if a female gets pregnant, the pregnancy test, what do we check? For this presence of this hormone in the urine or in the blood sample, that is human chorionic gonadotropin. Short form you write small h for human, CG will be capital for chorionic gonadotropin. Now this hormone, what is the function of this hormone, which we'll be talking later, but here we said normally fertilization does not occur, corpus luteum degenerates and as a result the levels of progesterone falls. But when fertilization occurs and the trophoblast is formed and the blastocyst gets implanted, then the cells of the trophoblast secretes this hormone. This is going to maintain the corpus luteum, prevent it from degeneration, and as a result corpus luteum will continue its secretion of progesterone, and that is needed It acts as a pregnancy hormone that is needed to maintain the uterine endometrium, and that is required to maintain the pregnancy for the 9 months of the gestation period. So this is the hormone, that is human chorionic gonadotropin, that is responsible for maintaining the corpus luteum and stimulating it to continue its production of progesterone. And this is also a test for pregnancy. This is what it checked in the urine for the presence of this hormone, that is HCG. It's checked in the urine or in the blood sample to see whether a female is pregnant or not. Now, as the embryo is going to increase, so because of the pressure of this growing blastocyst, zona pellucida was still attached. Now a slit will be produced, and from that the blastocyst will come out, and that zona pellucida will then degenerate. So it is here, while the blastocyst is going to come out, sometimes what happens from that slit, sometimes what happens, the blastocyst gets split up into two and separately gets implanted into the uterine endometrium. And here is when you can have monozygotic twins formed. So while the blastocyst is coming out from the zona pellucida, accidentally, if it gets split into two, it will be identical in all respects. And if it gets implanted into the uterine endometrium, it can form twins, which will be of the same sex, either females or males, identical. So what we refer to as monozygotic twins. And how will dizygotic twins be formed, or fraternal twins? If two eggs at the same time from the two ovaries at the same time get fertilized by two sperms, but those will be different as two siblings are different, but the conception has occurred at the same time. That will be called as dizygotic twins. Now, when the blastocyst comes out, now after the removal of the zona pellucida, now it will be attached to the uterine wall. That means it will be implanted into the uterine wall, where it will undergo further growth, and that will be dealt later in this chapter. Now coming to, so this part was only up to the blastocyst stage. So these are the figures which you have to draw if you get this. Discuss the early stages of the embryonic development up to the blastocyst stage. So this is the zygote as we have shown here. So that means both the male and the female pronuclei have fused, and these are the two polar bodies, and so this will be the animal pole, opposite will be the vegetal pole. So this will undergo cleavage division. So we said the first cleavage occurring after 30 hours of fertilization will be from the animal to the vegetal pole, and it will be slightly unequal. One blastomere will be slightly larger than the other, and the resulting cells formed after cleavage division we said are referred to as blastomere. So this is the 2-cell stage. Second division at right angles to the first within 40 hours of fertilization, and so this is the 4-cell. So by repeated mitotic division you will have the solid ball of cells, what we call as a morula stage, formed, and at the 8-cell stage they will undergo compaction. They will be compactly held with the help of cohesion proteins. So zona pellucida is still intact. So this is occurring in the fallopian tube. This is also occurring in the fallopian tube, but here when it reaches the uterus, corona radiata we normally don't show in the figures, but it is going to detach when it reaches to the uterus, and still it is covered by the zona pellucida. And we said that the morula stage shows differentiation of two types of cells. Outer will be a layer of small clade cells around a mass of large dense cells. So when it reaches to the uterus, it absorbs nourishment from the uterus from the endometrial glands. It's going to increase in size. The small clade cells outside the morula will form what we call as will line the embryo as the trophoblast or the trophoectoderm, will flatten and line the embryo, and sodium will enter inside by active transport. As a result, water will enter inside, so a fluid filled cavity will be created, what we say as the blastocele, and this contains amino acids, growth factors and other molecules that is needed for cellular differentiation. Now the cells which we said just now inside, which we refer to as the inner cell mass, will now, because of the presence of this cavity, will be pushed to one end of the embryo, and therefore this is referred to as the inner cell mass because they were present inside the morula stage. So, and the inner cell mass is, or the cells within the inner cell mass, we say they are called as the stem cells because they will give rise to the embryo proper, they will give rise to all tissues and organs of a fetus. We said the region of the trophoblast next to the inner cell mass, this is called as the cells of Robert, this region. The part of the trophoblast next to the inner cell mass is referred to as the cells of Robert. So now the zona pellucida will degenerate. Now zona pellucida, without the zona pellucida, now the blastocyst can be attached to the uterine endometrium. And what will be the alignment? The inner cell mass will be facing the uterine endometrium like this. So if this is a uterine endometrium here, this will be facing towards the uterus or the uterine endometrium in this position, which we are going to discuss further in subsequent videos. So this is up to the blastocyst stage, and this comes as a question. Discuss the embryonic development up to the blastocyst stage, and if it comes, you have to draw these diagrams also for this part. That means up to the blastocyst stage. So that was all for today. Subsequent videos will be taking about is the implantation, then placenta formation, and then functions of the placenta, and then will be the subsequent embryonic development, in which we'll be talking about gastrogenesis, then you have is organogenesis, then parturition. So these are the remaining parts of this chapter. So if you have any doubts anywhere, please text me. Thank you. God bless you all.